Welcome back to Everything Whiskey. I'm Callum,
And I'm Sam.
and today we're reviewing the Chivas Regal Mizunara cask.
Alrighty, so today we're doing, as Curly said, whoa, I just gave myself a massive pour. Just a little. That was an accident. Anyway, today we're doing Chivas Regal Mizunara cask. Now, Mizunara is I believe it's a type of wood that they use for barrels in predominantly Japan, because the wood is from Japan. And I believe the Chivas guys made a trip there and got inspired by that and what they do with their Mizunara cask and decided to implement it in their own blend. I'm not sure what type of, which one of the Chivas Regal blends it is, but it is a blend. It's not a single malt. But yeah, they just finished it off in a Mizunara cask.
Alright, so this was a travel exclusive, but I'm pretty sure they've just recently made it available basically everywhere. Because I picked this up coming back from somewhere, I can't remember where, and I thought it was sick, because I had never seen a Scotch finished in Japanese wood or anything like that.
Yeah, well, Mizunara for a barrel, like to age in whiskey, is super rare. I think it's quite expensive of a wood to get hold of. I think is the main issue.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd never seen it anywhere. That's why I picked it up. And
Yeah.
I wish I'd waited a year, because now it's everywhere and it's cheaper than I would have picked up.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad whiskey whatsoever. It's quite pleasant.
I think it's like pretty much on par with just a regular, maybe Chivas 12, except with kind of a little slight variant. I wouldn't say it's a completely different whiskey at all. It's still very much a Chivas. If you know Chivas, then you'll know this. You'll be well at home with this. It's just got, I don't know, I feel like some light floral and citrus notes added in, but nothing extreme whatsoever that I can find.
Maybe like you remember the Chivas Extra? I can't really remember it. I mean, we have a story behind that, but we did try that, but I can't remember it, neither can Sam, so that might give you some indication of what we used it for. But yeah, I think the Chivas Regal Extra tasted very much along these lines.
What was the extra? What was the difference? Like, what was the significance of the extra?
I mean, I really couldn't tell you. That's what it's called, Chivas Regal Extra. And it's about $10 more than the 12.
It's just it's extra money. It's an extra tenner. It's an extra tenner. That's it.
But I mean, this has got obviously notes from this Japanese wood that the extra wouldn't have.
Yeah. I'm getting like, I don't know, like peaches.
Yeah.
Really light peaches in this.
It's very fruity, this whiskey.
Super sweet, like the regular Chivas Regal.
It's fairly thick, I reckon. If you like, it's got a thick nose on it.
It does have a much thicker nose than regular Chivas, I'd say. Like, I reckon that regular Chivas is kind of like sickly, thick sweet, but it's pretty much just sweetness that you get in the nose. You don't get a whole lot aside from like maybe a bit of vanilla and some light fruits. This is a bit more like it is that, but it's a bit more on the outside as well. There's a few other notes kind of outlining that as well. There's the peaches, there's some more floral notes. I want to say like honeysuckle and I don't know,
maybe a touch of molasses.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit more kind of caramelized, I guess.
Yeah,
it's kind of creme brulee sweetness.
It's a potent Chivas. It's got a very thick, pungent nose on it.
Didn't mention it's 40%, so nothing different.
Just a regular Chivas.
It's still Chivas. They're not going anywhere. They're not until they raise the minimum. Until they raise the minimum ABV, I'm pretty sure Chivas is going to stay bang on 40%.
Do they do a cask strength or not?
I'm sure at some point they do.
At some point, yeah. I've never seen.
Probably got something somewhere, but for the most part, I think they steer well clear and just make the most bang for their buck. But no problem with that. More power to them. It clearly works for them, because the lower the proof, the more wide of an audience you cater to, which means more sales. So, and more liquid, coincidentally anyway. So I mean, if we were distilling enough and we were selling, I'd definitely come up with a line of 40%. It definitely wouldn't be the only thing. I'd probably only have one release, of basic 40% whiskey, but it's pretty dumb to only do, high, cask strength whiskey, to be honest, if you're a craft distillery. But I guess Chivas doesn't have that excuse. It's massive.
As I've never seen this before, do you reckon there's an actual reason as to why Chivas Regal made this whiskey?
To be honest, like with the timing, I wouldn't say it would be. I don't think it would be a leap to say that they were probably trying to hang on to the bandwagon of the, freshly exploded in popularity of Japanese whiskey. You know how it kind of recently, the past 2 years, just blew up in the past 3 years or so. And I assume they were kind of just using that and they're thinking, hey, we can jump in on that and use their sales as our own. We'll do what everyone knows us for, except we'll add some Japanesiness to it and see if it'll help our sales. And I reckon it definitely would have, because I know Mizunara is like not easy to come by, at least in large quantities, but they don't mention how high the quantity of actual liquid, like it's part of the barreling was in Mizunara casks. They don't say how much of it though. It could be a very small percentage, so they could have easily just gotten hold of a small amount, then sold it as this pretty overtly Japanese labeling and marketing ploy, and then nabbed all the bloody Japanese whiskey fanatics on the way through without really spending much more. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was it. It could be coincidental. I'm not sure. I could be wrong, and it could be a huge quantity is coming from the Mizunara casks. I'm just guessing.
It doesn't sound like it does.
I feel like they would have mentioned if it was a lot.
Yeah, they just say they marry the exclusive blend in the Mizunara, so it doesn't really.
They don't give you much, which is fine, but I just think take it with a grain of salt, this whole Mizunara thing. I think with a lot of blends, take their bottlings with a grain of salt, because they're exclusive bottlings, I just think it's a blend anyway. Like, I would have appreciated if they, I guess they can't call it Scotch thing, can they? If I was gonna say it would be good if they could actually blend in some Japanese whiskey if they had a deal with some other distillery in Japan, but then they wouldn't be able to call it Scotch. So I'm not sure. This is probably as close as they can get.
Yeah, I mean it's very similar to a Japanese whiskey, I'd say.
Yeah, but I think Chivas already was. I think Chivas was pretty close anyway. But I don't know. I don't blame them at all this. I think it's a good idea. It's too expensive, I'd say.
What is it? What is it now? I paid, I think it was $100 for it a year ago or so.
I'll check to see if it's changed. Yeah, so it's still about $85 everywhere for this one. So it's hard to recommend. I don't know. It's not because it's not an enjoyable whiskey, but just I don't know. It's still just Chivas. You could just get a Chivas 12 and be 90% of the way there and pay half as much. It's just, I don't know.
That is based on what we remember a year ago. Should we jump into the taste now and actually see if it's changed a little bit? Maybe.
I mean, I've been pretty much sipping on it and giving an opinion anyway. But yeah, let's actually do it. We'll give it a better one.
It's very Chivas, isn't it?
It is. It's got like a white winey kind of thing going on. White wine you get from Chivas.
I get a really heavy nut after taste as well. Like maybe walnuts.
I'm not getting the nuts. I'm getting like super light spices. Getting the floral and citrus a bit still.
Yeah.
A little bit of maltiness. Super sweet still.
Yep. Yeah, I got all that, but I just get heavy nuts for some reason. I'm getting really like kind of cashews, maybe pistachios as well. Salted pistachios in the end. And the finish is it's kind of like a moderate length. It's not short, but it's not really long as well.
It's I feel like it's a bit longer than the regular Chivas though.
I can't remember the regular Chivas. Have I got regular Chivas? I do. I might might compare. Hang on, give me a second.
I don't, but
Alright, so here we have the regular Chivas 12. And I'll compare these two.
yeah. Now, from what I remember, it's quite similar, but a fair amount less fruit. And I don't remember the white wine and kind of like floral notes that I get with this. So I'm not sure.
They smell pretty much
Hang
exactly
on,
the same on the nose, yeah. I'll go with the 12.
I like that nosing glass. That's a Lafroig nosing glass. It's tiny, but I love it. I reckon it's a sick design. It's like a Glencairn, except smaller and without the little stem. I'm not even using a Glencairn tonight. I couldn't find it for the life of me. I'm using the Glenlivet one. It's the closest thing I can get.
Yeah, the 12, they've got similar notes. Hang on, let me just jump here another two.
Yeah.
Very similar, sweet, floral. But the finish on the Chivas 12 is, it's reasonably short. Like it's gone now completely.
Yeah.
Whereas on the Mizunara,
It's a bit longer.
it's lighter and longer. All those flavors, and then I can taste the oak, Mizunara oak as well.
Really, I think I'd need a side to side comparison to be able to tell.
It's actually a lot more spice in the Mizunara
to
as well.
specifically nail down, the difference the Mizunara gives to the whiskey. Because right now it's like, I don't know. It's why I've always said it. You really, no matter what you're tasting, even if you're not tasting something particularly similar, just having two whiskeys to compare, I don't know. It just makes a much more enjoyable experience for me because when you're drinking whiskey on a lone occasion, on different days, they kind of like blend in. You can't remember how different something is from the other. When you have them side by side, you pick out notes that just are or aren't there in the other ones, and it's just, I don't know, it's a better experience, I reckon.
Yeah.
It helps you develop nailing down notes, I think, a bit more quickly.
But jumping back to the comparison, how much was the Mizunara? 85, you said.
Yeah, it ranges from like 75 to 85.
And what's the 12? Like 40 to 60-ish.
That's so weird. Sorry, Australian prices. It's almost not even worth mentioning pricing in these episodes because just Australia. At Liquorland, it is $68 for the 12, and at Dan Murphy's, it's $42. So,
Surely one of those is the 1 litre.
they're both 700 ml.
For the price comparison, I would definitely go for the 12 over the Mizunara. Mizunara is probably more refined, maybe a bit more complex, but for the price, I would not pay $85. Generally,
it's $100 on at Dan Murphy's. Sorry, the Mizunara.
Well, $100, yeah, definitely not.
Seems to range, but Liquorland, no, it's a different one as well. It seems to range, but around $100 for that. And to be honest, they're both overpriced unless you're getting the 12 at the 45 mark, which I think is where it should be.
Well, I mean, the 12...
then it's a good one, but I don't know. For the Mizunara, I would not recommend paying the extra amount if you're just going for... If you're doing it because you want different flavor, you're going to struggle to find a real definitive difference between the two. You're going to be hard pressed to come up with specific notes unless you're side by side. And even then, I know you can pick up different flavors and stuff, but you've been drinking whiskey for a while, Curly, and even still, side by side, what percentage do you think they are the same? What the similarity?
I'd probably put 10% either side.
So there's only a 10% difference.
It's not much.
Yeah,
the nose is exactly the same, and I can pick up the differences in the oak. That's about it.
If we're just going off Dan Murphy's pricing, you are getting a 10% max difference in flavor for a 100% increase in price. So
you were literally just paying for the name Mizunara, for the Chivas Regal Mizunara. That's 100% the only reason as to why it's $30-$40 more.
Alrighty, thank you very much for watching this episode of Everything Whiskey Quarantine Edition. We know we are out of quarantine for the most part for now, and that's why you'll be seeing continuous episodes of the, I don't know, ones where we're shooting together, but we think that this is still just a good middle of the week, middle of the working week kind of thing we can do. Keep up the posts and stuff, keep going through our old supply of whiskeys. So we'll keep it up. Anyway, we'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers.
Cheers.